Hello again, folks. This is Barry with Barry's 8-Track and Classic Car Radio Repair. And tonight's victim is one that we've already done a video on before. This is a Ford Mark III used in Lincolns, among possibly some other cars. And the reason that I'm doing another video on this one is this unit has been wired to the customer's original connectors, which is permissible with a conversion, but it does reduce your available output power. The output power is still slightly more than what the original radio had, but if we come out with a 12-wire harness to where each speaker has its own separate pair of wires with no common or grounded wires, then you can get a lot more output power out of a conversion. But so this is just a demonstration of a unit that's been wired to the customer's original connectors into a common ground speaker system with a reduced output, but it still sounds pretty good. So we're just going to go ahead and run this thing through its paces as a final pre-shipment performance test. Now you might be wondering, if you have one of these units, you might be wondering about this strange little lone green wire that comes out the left side by itself. Might wonder what that's for. That's actually for the 8-track tape eject function, and that wire is actually connected to the car's directly to the car's electrical system, possibly after the ignition switch, possibly before it, but at any rate, it's that particular eject circuit is powered up all the time the car is running, whether the unit is turned on or not. It's kind of a strange arrangement, but it allows the tape to be ejected simply by turning the unit off or by turning the ignition off. It'll automatically eject that tape so that the tape's not resting against the head all night or for days on end to magnetize that tape head. And that's just an unusual quirk of this Mark III, Ford Mark III type unit. So let's go ahead and turn this thing on. The sun just went down, so we're not sure if we're going to have any AM reception, but let's go ahead and test the FM reception. Turn this thing on.
We are awaiting President Trump's arrival, entering the House chamber, where
and we're going to bring our output level meters into the picture so that we can see what's going on with the output. Make sure we have output on all 4 speakers. There's our output level meters.
From NPR's reporters
and right now we're at a pretty equally balanced between the 4 speakers. So now we're going to turn our balance slider to the left side, and we have only left speakers, of course. Right side, of course, we're only going to have right side speakers.
So traditionally, what's the goal of a speech like
now,
this?
on the front-rear fader action, I prefer to use the virtual fader that the conversion offers rather than the original fader, because half the time the original fader is no longer working because of its certain special design that's kind of self-destructive. And so it's much better to go ahead and wire the conversion to use the tone control as a temporary front rear fader. And let's get some music up here so we can show how that works. Okay, there's some music, and you can see we're at all 4 speakers. I'm going to activate the virtual front rear fader, and on this unit we do that by rotating our tone control twice to the right. After we do those 2 rotations, we're going to hear 4 beeps through the speakers, letting us know that you can use that tone control now for left, right, or for front rear speaker fading. Now when I just rotated the tone control to the center position, that's why we lost a little treble. That's to give me room to rotate it to the right, which is required to activate the front rear fader function. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to rotate it twice to the right, each time returning it to center, and I'm going to wait for my beeps. Here we go. Okay, there's our 4 beeps. And now, the tone control is adjusting our front rear fading action. And I see I need to turn up my, I need to adjust my levels a little bit on the mixer, so just bear with me for a moment here. We're a little bit weak on the left side. Okay, I just let that function time out, so let's activate it again. Once you stop adjusting it, that function will time out because it thinks you're done making adjustments. So let me, okay, my front speaker left-right balance seems okay, as does the rear right now. Oh, it just climbed up. Okay, I'll have to troubleshoot that problem at another time. Okay, that should be a little bit better balance now between left and right. Okay, so now I'm going to stop adjusting the fader action. I'm going to let it time out. There's our single beep letting us know that function is timed out. So now we've demonstrated that the balance control and the virtual fader control works properly. Let's go ahead and go through all 5 FM presets. I've got all of them set to an FM station, so turn my tone control back up to a nice listening timbre, and here we go.
This is similar to an inaugural address in that this isn't a
Now this is FM reception coming out of what was formerly an AM radio. Okay, that adjustment has wandered a bit, so let's reset that. Okay, it's
312.
looks like I just picked a station that's a little bit too narrow for that button to so let's lock it to this station instead. There we go.
Listen to these words.
That's the
Philippians
second from the
1.
last button, and now the last button. There's our little Spanish station. Okay, now let's, hopefully we still have some AM activity, although the sun has gone down. We're going to switch to AM by turning the unit off and then right back on within half a second. So here we go. Off, on. And there's our familiar AM interference sound. And we get a good station right about... Okay, that one's gone off the air already. Let's see if this one's still on.
ABC House is there as President Trump makes his way.
Stall with the goaltending change here. See if that might...
Chambers shaking hands with members of Congress who had...
Okay, so there's our strong AM station, and that one's coming in pretty good. So let's switch back to FM, off and then right back on. And incidentally, if you leave the unit off for more than 2 seconds, when you turn it back on, it'll remember the function that you were last using.
The priority commandment, and we really have.
Alright, so there's our radio. Let's go ahead and pop a tape in here and make sure that the tape function works properly. Let's see if we can bring our unit back into the foreground here. So we got some Herb Alpert on deck, who I grew up on, as one of my favorite artists. So let's pop him in. Here's good old Herb. Left-right balance should be pretty good. It looks good on my indicators. Switch tracks a few times. Okay, we're between songs there. Now we're going to eject the tape, and on this model we do that by pressing in any of the tuner buttons just a little bit. And there's our tape ejecting. It'll also eject it when you turn the unit off automatically. Well, oh no, because I don't have it hooked up at the moment. So that just made a liar out of me. Okay, let's pop another tape in here. And here we got some Temptations on deck. Right at the end of a song there. Okay, nice crisp sounding 8-track. Okay, now we're going to eject the tape. The radio should come back on by itself. And there's our radio. We're on AM, so let's put it back to FM, off, right back on.
God was saying to us, if you could have
Okay, and there's our FM station again.
So
So we've demonstrated that all the functions are correctly working. It's ready to ship back to the customer, and now we'll see if we can find my pretty face among all this mess here. This is Barry with Barry's 8-track and classic car radio repair. If you have an 8-track in need of service or a classic car AM radio that you would like to add FM to, with the possibilities of also adding Bluetooth, USB, aux input, and all that cool stuff, you can reach me directly at 928-533-9666, and you'll see my website in the description. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.
having fun, driving my classic ride. Got a Mustang, buddy, it's a 69, but she ain't sounding so fine. Driving this car, I can't hear the guitar, and all my tapes run slow too. Radio smoking, 8-track deck's broken. What can I do? Send it to 8-track repair center. 8-track repair center. 8-track repair center.com.